Thanks for the opportunity given by the chairman, the co-chairman of this great summit, especially to Dr. Professor Rajan, who I have a great respect for all these years. He has asked me to present something that is very close to my heart. The technology is something that's very close to in my heart. I'm talking about the central bank digital currency, another form of e-money. So we need to know what is central bank digital currency. It's a digital form of a country's fiat currency, of any country for that matter. That is also a claim on the central bank. The idea is, instead of printing money, the central bank issues electronic coins or accounts backed by full faith and credit of the government. What are the features of CBDC? I'll use the term CBDC now, also known as central bank digital currency. Central bank digital currency, CBDC, is a sovereign currency issued by the central banks in alignment with their monetary policy. It appears as the liability on the central bank's balance sheet. It must be accepted as a medium of payment, legal tender, and a safe store of value for all citizens, enterprises, and government agencies. It should be freely convertible against commercial bank money and cash, fungible legal tender for which holders need not have a bank account, expected to lower the cost of issuance of money and transactions because here the paper money is eliminated totally. What are the classifications? We have, central bank money, which is, the cash, retail cash, and reserve deposits as a wholesale this thing, and private sector money, bank deposits in the form of retail this thing, and crypto assets. Money is a financial instrument functioning as a medium of exchange, allows efficient transactions of goods and services, a unit of account, enables the value of all goods and services, a store of value, any asset whose value can
Hello,
be
sir.
in the future. Am I audible?
Yes, please, but your slide is static. Are you transitioning?
Yeah, I'm transitioning.
Oh, okay.
Is it visible now?
Please. So you can start from the beginning, please.
Oh, is it visible now? Is it
very well, please?
It's dynamic or static? It's dynamic,
It's fine now, please. You can go ahead.
Okay. Should I start from start or should I start from where I left?
You can continue, please.
Okay, I can continue. Here, money is a financial instrument functioning as a medium of exchange, allows efficient transactions of goods and services. It's a unit of account, enables the value of all goods and services. It's a store of value, any asset whose value can be maintained in the future for financing, for spending at a later date. The standard of deferred payment enables purchasing goods and services, paying back debt in the future. To meet these, four functions, money must be durable, portable, divisible, and difficult to counterfeit. Is it transitioning? Now the next slide, is it visible or? Okay. Who can issue this? For the wholesale interbank settlement, only central bank is authorized to issue. For the retail thing, we have peer-to-peer, business to consumer, and government to consumer. So, and it is handled by the, central bank. And cross-border remittances and retail and wholesale issuance authority is the central bank. The distribution for, wholesale, the distribution is happening through commercial banks. For retail, it is through commercial banks or direct. And for the cross-border transaction, it is again, commercial banks. For the transaction, the wholesale is done through commercial bank treasury operations. For retail, it is e-wallet systems. And for the cross-border commercial operations. Let's understand what are the benefits of CBDC. CBDCs are instruments that support the public policy objectives of the government, providing a safe and resilient means of payment. They promote efficient, innovative payments if properly monitored and the risk involved are overcome through effective means. CBDC helps in implementing anti-money laundering (AML) and combating CFT measures by acting as a highly secure way for cross-border transactions, which can speed up the high-value transactions as no post-reconciliation is needed. Uh, it can also benefit many sections of the society by being, activated through offline payments through digital tokens. The Financial Action Task Force is an intergovernmental body which handles international standards to prevent money laundering, terrorist financing, and financing of the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. The FATF has agreed that stablecoins are covered by the revised FATF standards as either virtual assets or traditional financial assets. This followed revisions to the FATF standards in June 2019 to explicitly apply AML CFT requirements to virtual assets as well and virtual asset service providers. Use cases of CBDC. I'm talking about the Indian context. India has experimented in the last year, and we have been successful in some of its operations. Programmable payments, direct benefit transfer, which minimizes misuse of social benefit programs and other subsidies as it ensures correct usage of money transferred. The key participants were Reserve Bank of India, commercial banks, commercial organizations, merchants, software and hardware providers, and the general public. Cross-border remittances, fast real-time remittances of money and reduction of time required for receiving payments across borders. Key participants were RBI, other central banks, commercial banks, software providers, and general public. Retail payments, alternative secure payments which are instantly settled and lower risk in clearing of payments. Key participants are RBI, commercial banks, businesses, software and hardware providers, original equipment manufacturers, and general public. MSME, medium and small, manufacturers, entities lending. Accurate risk profile of borrowers are, calculated. Faster disbursement of loans are happening. Accurate tracking of loan usage is also properly being monitored. Key participants are RBI, Reserve Bank of India, commercial banks, businesses, software and hardware providers, and general public. Offline payments caters to the needs of people living in areas without internet connectivity by serving as a secure mode of payment. Key participants: RBI, commercial banks, businesses, software and hardware providers, OEMs, and general public. Here, India has a very classic case. We have introduced a unified payment interface, which was introduced by the National Payments Corporation of India 7 years ago on April 11, 2016. According to the NPCI, for the month of May 2023, the total monthly UPI transactions reached a record level with a transaction value of record, $181 billion. Recently, the study was undertaken, RBI, the NPCL has undertaken various initiatives to extend the UPI beyond its border and make it a, true payment system. The list of countries participating in this include, Singapore, Canada, Hong Kong, Oman, Qatar, US, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, the UK, Bhutan and Nepal, France, Bhutan and Nepal. What are the key principles for CBDC? There are 5 main design principles that allow for successful deployments of a CBDC. The decentralized system must guarantee one, security without compromising performance. The CBDC infrastructure must promote competition and innovation by its users. An economical and inclusive approach is required. The model must provide central banks with full control of the system. A flexible digital infrastructure must ensure integration and interoperability. Key design decisions for CBDC These are the design decisions that are being considered by the entire world now, as per the standard documents by ITU and Bank of Resettlement, international resettlements. Controls design, interest bearing limits and caps. Two fundamental and complementary design features for this should weigh how the interest could play a role in controlling the interest rate for CBDC and facilitate pass through of interest rate. Designing a deposit like CBDC could has any disintermediation existing between on deposit takers. The technical design should take care of ledger design, ledger functionality, ledger access. Technical design should take care of payment authentication designs. Identity based, token based, or this thing will have a significant bearing on the underlying data structure of a CBDC, and consequently its integration with others for digital identity wallet as part of KYC or transaction monitoring requirements. Then they have, the technical design should take care of transfer and storage. The governance, a CBD system will require a rule book for making the roles and responsibilities of the operators, participants, and potentially other service providers and stakeholders. Incentive design. CBDC funding. Issuing a CBDC will require capital expenditure, and also they have to factor in the running costs. Deciding who should pay will have implications for its operative efficiency, competition, innovation, and inclusiveness. Directly recovering from the public users would be transparent, but could be a disinterested adoption. Charging service providers will require them to have a viable financial model to recover their cost. Public subsidies could reduce or eliminate some of the charges which could impact private payment providers. Then intermediary business models, how and where private sector intermediaries can be part of a CBDC system which can generate revenue will have a significant impact on the competition, innovation, and privacy within the system. These are the decisions that has to be factored in when they are doing this design. Then design and technology trade-off. We need to look at security offline transactions, cost of service provision and universal access, privacy and compliance, privacy, capability, and scalability. Then finally, programmability and performance. Heavy use of programmable functions will require a high level of technical performance from the system, adding cost or reducing operational resilience. Let's talk about how to develop a technology stack here. We have 4-layered model. The first layer is the network layer, which controls the mechanisms through which participants in the CBDC systems will be discovered and will have information propagated to them. The transaction layer defines the CBD data and its structure. This layer depends on choices of how transactions are to be processed and approved. The data layer defines what and how much transactions are stored, current global state, and the system event logs. And layers design depends on choices made, management access and storage. The application layer is the application layer where the functionality and business logic can be implemented, whether built into or built on the core of CBDC stack, and which are implemented through cloud native or containerized solutions. System model and security goals. Here let us distinguish 3 types of actors here. The transaction processor. One second. The transaction processor keeps track of funds which are owned by different people. Funds are representation of money and as such refer to an amount of money that must be satisfied to move this amount, say to another. Once again, I'm sorry. Here we talk about a dilemma that is resolved by the exchange of few messages. This is a definition of zero knowledge. Bob chooses a number W and computes W equal to X to modulus N, and he sends the challenge number X to Alice. Alice chooses a random number R mod N and sends the number R to mod N and X R to mod N to another. Bob chooses one of the numbers and asks for the square root. Alice replies with R root X mod N. Bob checks the number. Answer. If Bob cheats by just sending X without knowing W, he doesn't learn root X, since he does not know the value and R root X. If Alice is cheating, she could have faked either one of the square roots without knowing the factors of N, but she can't compute both without knowing root X. If Alice is faking, each challenger has a 50% chance of exposing Alice. Zero knowledge can be used to confirm logic gate results, and hence any computation will become computationally expensive. The Alice job square root exchange can be completed in a few seconds on any modern computer, but a more complex result, such as Alice asserting that she knows a message M such that hash M is a particular pre-specified value, can take hours or days of computation to carry out. What are the potential risks that involves CBDC? Cyber hacks and threats. CBDCs might be subjected to cyber hacks, which might lead to unforced timeouts or service declines. Decentralized systems are usually good at handling success, but a resilient system with a anti-hack measure should be preferred. Impact on monetary policy. The high adoption of CBDC within a country's financial system may have an impact on the monetary policy, creating unnecessary instability in the economy without taking any adequate measures. Impact on the role of commercial banks. Two-tier issuance of architecture is a good approach. CBDC, as it helps in saving a run on the central bank. In this architecture, the central bank distribution to the general public by the commercial banks based on securities, or the securities held at the central bank. The role of banks needs to be clearly defined in the whole distribution management of CBDC with proper missions against disintermediation. Impact on financial inclusion. In countries like India, where around 550 million people still have phones, it is important for CBDC not to cater to tech-savvy youth, but also to include feature phone users and people from lower socio-economic groups within the country. Threat to privacy. The introduction of CBDC will increase the security and safety of transactions. We should be validated, captured in a distributed ledger. However, there is a small trade-off between combating AML and CFT and privacy, because transactions of people and businesses will not be completely anonymous. Let's look at the important statistics. 114 countries representing over 95% of global GDP are exploring a CBDC. In May 2020, countries were considering the new high of 60 countries are in advanced phase of implementation, development, pilot, or launch. 11 countries have fully launched a digital currency, and China's pilot, which reaches 260 million users, is set to expand to most of the country in 2023. Jamaica is the latest country to launch a CBDC, Jamaica DEX. In 2023, over 20 countries will take significant steps towards piloting a CBDC. Australia, Thailand, India, South Korea, Russia intend to continue or begin pilot testing in 2023. The external commercial borrowing is also, to start as a pilot next year. As of December 2022, all G7, economies have now moved into the development stage, including the New York Federal Reserve's wholesale CBDC experiment. Project CEDAR has shifted to US first, from from pilot to develop, pilot into development. 18 of the G20 countries are now in the advanced stage of CBDC development. Of those, 7 countries are already in pilot mode. Nearly every G20 country has made significant progress and invested new resources in these projects over the past 6 months. Let's look at some of the projects that are started. Project Helvetia was a collaboration between the Swiss National Bank, the BAS, that is Bank of International Settlements, and the Commercial Infrastructure Operator SIX. In 2020, Project Helvetia explored the feasibility of issuing a wholesale CBDC onto Six's distributed digital asset platform. In January 2022, it was announced that Project Helvetia was successful in integrating the wholesale CBDC to the core banking infrastructure of the country. Use cases, wholesale. There's Sand Dollar. Bahamas Sand Dollar is the digital version of Bahamian Sand Dollar. Like cash Sand Dollar is issued through the Central Bank of the Bahamas. Project Aurum. In March 2021, the BAS Innovation Hub in Hong Kong, in partnership with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, released a prototype CBDC which could issue both wholesale and retail tokens. Countries are Hong Kong and BAS, Bank of International Settlements. Use cases are both retail and wholesale. Project Jasper, the Bank of Canada, which concluded after the phase included cross-border transaction with the Bank of England and the Monetary Authority of Singapore. The countries included Canada, the UK, and Singapore, and the use case was the wholesale one. Project Dunbar, the central banks of Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, and South Africa began exploring a platform for international settlements through Project Dunbar. As of March 2022, the project was successful in building 2 prototypes to allow international settlements across multiple CBDCs. Countries included Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, and South Africa. Use case was wholesale. Project Icebreaker. In September 2022, the Central Bank of Norway, Swedish, and BAS Information Nordic, this thing announced Project Icebreaker, which had conducted test interlinking and interoperative features between different retail CBDCs. They explored the model for permitting retail payments across brokers and is running till the end of 2022. The report is expected in 2023. The countries involved were Israel, Norway, Sweden, and the BAS. Use case was retail. Project Mariana. In November 2022, Banque de France, Monetary Authority of Singapore, and the Swiss National Bank, in partnership with the Eurosystem BAS Innovation Hub, announced the cross-border automated market maker (AMM) project. This explored using AMS to facilitate exchange between Swiss franc, euro, Singapore dollar on the wholesale level. The countries involved were France, Switzerland, Singapore, and the BAS, and the use case was wholesale. Project Sella. In June 2022, the Bank for International Settlements Innovation Hub in Hong Kong announced a partnership between Israel and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. This project mandated to explore the cyber security implications and the 2-tier retail CBDC. The use case was retail. The countries involved were Israel, Hong Kong, and the BAS. Multiple CBDC Bridge, M-Bridge project. In September 2021, the Bank for International Settlements, along with Thailand, Hong Kong, China, and the UAE, released a report on phase 2 of the M-Bridge project, which seeks to create a multiple CBDC arrangement for a faster, cheaper, and more efficient mechanism for transfers and foreign exchange operations. Countries involved were Thailand, China, Hong Kong, and the UAE. The use case was the wholesale. Project Aber, the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia launched a bilateral CBDC project called Project Aber in 2009, which concluded that decentralized ledger, DLT, decentralized ledger technology can successfully facilitate cross-border transactions. The countries involved were, Saudi Arabia and the UAE. The use case was wholesale. Onyx multiple WCBDC in July 2021, Bank de France announced the successful completion of a cross-border payment experiment with the Monetary Authority of Singapore that used JP Morgan's Onyx unit. Countries were France and Singapore. The use case was wholesale. China's retail CBDC project, the ECONA, also known as the digital currency of China, and officially called the digital electronic payment, electronic this thing currency and electronic payment, which is the China's legal currency renminbi. It is issued by China's central bank, the People's Bank of China. The digital yuan ECNY platform is on the top of Binance smart chain decentralized blockchain technologies, leveraging security and transparency what they provide. In conclusion, CBDC, the central bank digital currency, holds a lot of promises by way of implementation, transparency, low cost of operation, among other benefits, and the potential for the existing payment systems to address the needs of a wider category of users across the world is in conceptual development or a pilot stage. Here, what we have to, there is no precedence. Extensive stakeholder consultation along with iterative technologies must take place to develop a solution that meets the standard requirements. While CBDC and the expected benefits are well understood, it is important to identify innovative methods and compelling use cases that will make CBDC as attractive as cash, if not more. The way forward requires elaborate planning in terms of scope, cost, time, and ensure the timely rollout of different phases of CBDC introduction. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, especially my sincere thanks to Dr. Rajan, who has motivated me to give this presentation to this World Summit, World Innovation and Tech Expo Summit. It's a wonderful summit, very active participation from the eminent this thing. I'm a small guy. Probably my presentation would have enthused you, and you can work in terms of taking the CBDC to your country, Ghana, as well.